This is an interview on the 6th of March 2005 with William Joseph Gleeson, V124005, 39th Battalion, B Company, 11 Platoon. Well, first of all, Bill, how did you come to join the Army?
Call up. Call up to the 46th Battalion down in Elsternwick it was there. And from there we went to camp at was a Rugby, R-I-K-E-B-Y, Rugby. And from there we went to Bungilla, but I thought we were picked to join the 39th Battalion there, but I think, well, either there or when we went to Bungilla, I'm not sure, but I think it was at, but anyway, we, after we were there for a while, we decided we're going overseas with the 39th, we might as well join the AIF. But we nominated to join the AIF, but they scrubbed us in. They kept us on with the 39th, and we finished up going to Darley with the 39th Battalion anyway.
So you're in the 46th Battalion first?
First, yeah.
And how old were you?
I was 21 when I first went into camp, yeah.
And did you do much training with the 46th Battalion?
Oh, a couple of months, I suppose, yeah.
What sort of things did your training consist of?
Just more or less marching and drill, that's all, you know, left, right, and all that sort of business, yeah. All the fundamental parts of that was only the thing. We never had any other training at all, only marching and drill mainly, yeah.
Who were some of your mates that went with you from the 46th across to the 39th? Do you remember some of the fellas that went with you?
Yeah, there was Ron Muirhead, Bert Kagan, Joe Shelton, and Jack Taylor. But they all finished up going other parts of the 39th too. They were more or less, they weren't in 11 Platoon very long, but anyway, we went to Darley there, and from there they broke. I know Jack Taylor went to the transport, and no, that's all. Yeah, the others were still in the 11 and 12 Platoon, I think it was there. But from but after that they, I think Ron Muirhead went to Skipper Kelly. Was it Skipper Kelly?
Yes.
He went with Skipper Kelly on the Kokoda Trail, on the supply. He was in supply. Yeah, he transferred from the 39th to supply. But most of the others were, still stayed with the. Well, Jack McLeod, he was in B Company. He finished up in the, I think it was the 68th Battalion. He was killed at, 58th Battalion. He was killed at, over at Bougainville or somewhere, yeah. He was a great friend of mine too.
Do you remember much about the camp at Darley?
Oh, no, not a great deal. It was just, we used to just, routine more or less, go marching, and just one part of it was the Battle of Corangamite. We were involved in that for over a week, I think it was. Yeah.
And do you remember much about that?
Oh, just that I was with, it must have been headquarters with Colonel Condon, and I told you he was with we finished up in the same Brent car area as he was going around. It was all right, getting to ride around instead of walking around the hills down at Corangamite, wherever it was there. But, oh no, but it was all right. It was an experience for most to do that. I remember one bloke on one of those trips, he, he killed a rabbit and he was supposed to be doing this battle for Corangamon. Here he's walking around with a dead rabbit in his hand.
He was going to cook it for lunch, was he?
I don't know.
He was going to cook it for his lunch.
I don't know what he did with the bloody thing. And it was, I reckon it was the funniest. That was the funniest incident I saw anyway. Yeah, like in a battle for Corangamon, here he is carrying a dead rabbit around in his hand. I forget his name. Oh, God. Anyway.
What was the feeling like amongst the battalion then?
Oh, good. We were, you know, great mates. It changed my life, I reckon. Mateship was a great thing in the army. You know, I think it meant a lot to whether you enjoyed it or not. And I think, the best thing you could do was to enjoy it because otherwise, I know some of them didn't like it, but they couldn't put up with it. You could see the sour look on their bloody faces, I thought, anyway. I was happy all the time, anyway.
Do you remember any conflict between the AIF and the Chocos that were killed?
Oh, yeah, but they did at Darley. There were supposed to be big dudes up at the canteen and that, fighting and all that. But there was I didn't say anything. But there was only bloody propaganda or some bloody thing. Whether it was to get them, the Chocos, to join the AIF or what, I don't know. But it never involved me. I didn't worry about it anyway, if there wasn't. And I didn't see anything to cause any alarm about it at all. No incidents at all. So. And I think it was, as I said, just propaganda about propaganda.
Do you remember having a street march in Melbourne before you...
Yeah, I did. Pretty good one too, it was, yeah. We met at on the hour outside. We marched through the... they did there was some difference. They had the rifle or the hat on the side of Chocos or whatever they call us, or someone else. There was some difference in the march. I forget what it was now, whether it was they carried the rifles in the other hand or something or other. I forget what it was, but we didn't worry about it. No.
Did you know you were going to be going overseas?
We knew we were going to Port Moresby. We were going to Port Moresby as to replace the 49th Battalion who were stationed there. They were garrisoned there, and we were to go to the Port Moresby to replace the 49th Battalion. But the 49th Battalion, when the Japs came into the war, they stayed at Port Moresby with us too.
So how did you feel about going overseas?
I didn't mind it at all. Didn't worry me at all. I liked it, as a matter of fact, going for a boat trip. Big ship like that, and all the girls Sydney waving to you, waving their underpants or whatever they call it.
Do you remember going up to Sydney?
Yeah, in my train, yeah. Yeah.
And how did you feel when you went down to the docks and saw the Aquitania?
Oh, I feel all right, yeah, good. We went straight from the, to the Aquitania, yeah. It was pretty sudden, and then we're no sooner on the Aquitania and she sailed off the next day. I think it was Boxing Day. So we didn't no messing around. We didn't delay it till we went straight, and we went straight onto the Aquitania from the boat, from the train. Yeah, yeah.
And what was your cabin like on the boat?
Yeah, I didn't. My cabin was the bloody deck. I slept on the deck. We dumped our stuff down below, which was, you could hear all the motors and the water and everything lapping up and everything. It was a big thing, but we didn't stay there because, as I said, it was too hot and stuffy for me, and we slept up top.
So how did you entertain yourselves on the trip?
And I said, I think I told her that we were, Freddie Miles was our lieutenant then.
Who was your lieutenant?
Freddie Miles.
Freddie Miles.
He was 11 platoon.
Yeah.
And he was the, and I said he organised games and all that on the boat, because there was plenty of room upstairs on the decks and that, because as I said, it was a pretty big ship, yeah. So we had plenty of room to move about and make games and everything. So, and it was only for 6 days anyway. So.
Mm. Did you remember anything else that happened on the voyage?
I remember getting off the bloody boat. I know that when they pulled into Port Moresby, they put us in the lifeboats from the Aquitania. Dear, they were quick. They got us all off in no time from the boat. The Jacks were right at their back door, and they had to make a hell of a scamper. So they got us off, and they marched us to the 7 Mile Drome, and that's where we camped.
And what was it like when you arrived at the 7 Mile Drome? What was there, and how did you feel?
There was nothing there. And they come free to hang your rifle on and sleep on the ground. And after a week, they sent us off to our various camps then. But it was very, it was a bit tough first. Because we had to march from the boat to the 7 Mile Drome, which was 5 or 6 or 7 mile out, of course, and that's where we camped for 5 or 6 days till we went to our allotted camps then.
And where were you sent then for your first camp? We
were sent out on the 7 Mile Valley. Yeah.
And was it one platoon? Or
no, B
company. The whole of B company.
Whole B company
was sent out.
Yeah, they were in the 7 Mile Valley. Yeah.
What sort of training did you do once you'd established your camp with B company?
Well, mainly, I think it was unloading bloody boats. We became wharf labourers while we were there and doing various jobs, and sent to. I finished up in a dysentery camp. Everyone had with crook stomachs, and I finished up. I got up after I was there a couple of days, and I thought, this is no good for me. And a couple of us got out and walked back to our camp. Then walked back to B company, because
you had dysentery.
That you couldn't stand the smell of everyone with the dysentery, and it was no good to me.
It would be terrible.
And it was 2 of the 3 of us that I know that we got up and walked back to our reporter to our B company office.
And do you remember things like what your cookhouse was like?
Yeah.
And what were your meals like?
Tin stuff, that's all. They didn't know how to cook for a while.
Who was your cook?
Oh, Sergeant Jamison, he was the bloke in charge of B company cookhouse. And I was trying to think of the other bloke, a snowy-headed fella. But anyway, Sergeant Jamison, but he stayed with he didn't go across the Goan Sun with us, did he?
And what do you remember about what sort of things you ate? What did you
Bully beef.
Bully beef.
Bully beef and camp, what's the name of pie or whatever, stew they put in tins, so I forget what a terrible bloody stuff.
Do you remember at the time who a couple of your mates were when you had when you were set up there? Was it the same fellas that you'd come from the 46 with, or had they been?
No, mainly, yeah. There was, in that photo, there was...
Tommy Herbert? Tommy Herbert was...
He was one of them, yeah, Tommy.
And Colin, was it?
Sinclair. Yeah, I was.
How many were in a tent?
5 or 6.
5 or 6?
But we camped out, see, the bloody mosquitoes were that bloody bad. We put out mosquito nets out, and they opened, Some poor buggers used to light a candle, trying to find the mosquitoes. I think they used to burn the bloody mosquito nets at times. I never did that, but you couldn't lift your bloody mosquito net up at all because it'd be full of bloody mosquitoes. And, oh, gee, they were terrible. No, dear.
So you don't remember doing any actual rifle practice or anything like that?
Oh, we did occasionally, but very little, yeah.
Mainly unloading supplies?
Mainly unloading supplies. Yeah. Well, we used to go for marches, down to Bootless Bay. That was a bay just down the road from our camp, Bootless.
What sort of defences did you have? Did you have any?
They dig slip trenches. They dug slip trenches here and there. And, very little, yeah. The bloody ground was too hard anyway.
Were you told that the Japanese were heading south?
Yeah, yeah.
So you knew they were coming?
Oh, it didn't take long. They were flying over, chucking bombs at us there.
What do you remember about the first bombing raids?
Well, I can't remember much. They not only very little bombing, but they used to fly up the valley and strafe the fighter planes. Used to strafe us there. But we used to be out on the side, so but they used to only machine gun the valley, the aerodrome and that there. We used to go down and help them load and refuel their planes, with the Air Force. I know our company did, and so did the others too, but we did a lot of work for the Air Force while we were there.
Did you remember the 75th Kitty Hawk Squadron arrived?
75th, yeah, did we ever? I'll tell you an incident about that. They used to send fire 3 rifle shots when the Japs were coming. So this day they fired their 3 rifle shots. Anyway, the planes come in, and our blokes on the we had 2 blokes who had a Lewis machine gun, and they happened to go on a bit of a walkabout this day. But so when the rifle shots went, I jumped down in the where the machine gun was. I give them 2 bursts. And they were airplanes, they were Kitty Hawks. Yeah, so I had that, I didn't hit them, I hope. Gosh, that's the only bit of fun I had. Firing it around and airmen.
Do you remember any mischief that you got into? You and your mates. What did you do at night time? Did you play cards or?
We played cards and anything for a bit of fun or something to do. That's all. But there was nothing much else you could do but sit by a lantern or some bloody thing if you're allowed, because you weren't allowed to have a light on at night time in case the Japs come over and bomb you or something. And,
did you remember ever having any entertainment? A mobile picture theatre or anything like that?
I think we did have a few of them up there, but I forget the names of them now. Yeah, that's right, we had a few of them, yeah. They were good, but I can't remember their names now. I could have years ago, of course, but I can't now. It's gone.
How were you paid? How did you get your pay?
We used to chop it out about every 6 months and draw you what you want, or send it by over to our bank or whatever. Yeah, you didn't need money up there. There was nothing to spend it on.
Do you remember how much money you got a week?
Oh, about 1 and 6. No, it was 6 bob a day. 5 or 6 bob a day it was, so that'd be 35 bob a week, I suppose. Yeah.
And did you remember getting letters or parcels from home?
Yeah, some of them might have been. I remember I got one about 18 months late once. She was bloody in a mess when I got it.
What was it?
It was, I tell you how old it was. It finished up, I got it at Sydney when I come back on the hospital ship. That was 18 months later, I suppose. God. Anyway, it was part of the, what's name, the battle, I suppose, yeah, for everything.
Were you told that you'd be setting off up the Kokoda Track?
Yeah, we knew. I was in B Company at the time. We all set off up. We got to ride as far as Koitaki, I think, in a transport, like a big 3-ton truck or something. And from then on we started to walk across the... And I think I told you that before. I got as far as Ereborough when I got appendix. And they...
So what happened to you then?
They sent me back to the 17 mile, it was in a hospital there, and they operated on me. And then I went up to Koitaki for a couple of weeks, and then I went back to the 39th, and we're back into it again, more or less. I didn't go onto the, as far as Kokoda, but we were just patrolling around up there. And then after that, after a few more months, we went on to, I decided to rejoin the action again, and they flew us over to a place called Papua, which was over the other side, and we walked from there to Gona.
That would have been about in December.
In December.
42.
42, yeah.
And what was it like when you got to Gona?
We left all our stuff on Papua, more or less, all our pack and that, and we never saw anything again. Everything was gone. What was it like at Gona?
What was it like when you first arrived and you saw where the action had been happening?
Terrible. They never saw. One night there it rained. I think it must have rained a foot of bloody rain. God, it was water everywhere. I think I might have told about company headquarters was they dug a trench to put all their stuff in, and next morning here the blokes for the company commander and whatever were sitting out on top of the ground, and the thing was full of water where they dug to put their supplies in.
Who was your company commander then?
Baron French.
Was he?
And Gulf Gowan was the 2IC.
And they were good officers?
Well, they were all right as far as I was concerned, yeah. Mm-hmm. And from Gona, we went to, we were always the reserve company at Gona. And we didn't see a great deal of action at Gona, and then when we went, the next place was Gona West, where we were the leading company then, because we were in reserve the other. And that's where we struck trouble going over to Gona.
And were you in 11 platoon still?
Yeah.
And what was that like when you met your first Japanese in action?
Yeah, it was great. It was bloody bullets going everywhere, and artillery and everything was. No idea, it was terrible. Anyway, on our way over to Gona West, we had a scout leading us, showing us the way, and he sent a message back for us to get off the track, and down the track come 3 Japs with towels going for a swim, and then heard a rat-tat-tat. Next minute there was 3 Japs blindfold on top of one another, dead as doornails. And it wasn't long after that someone threw a bomb, and the bloke next to me got half his back blown off. I only got my thumb shrapnel there. The next thing I know, I was on my way back to Port Moresby, and I walked for 2 days from Gona West to the hospital at Gona. Walked on my own for 2 days. Then from the hospital I can hear the doctor saying, send him back. That was the Gona to Port Moresby to the hospital. That was good news for me. I set out and off in the plane then.
Yeah.
That's the last I saw of the 39th Battalion.
What do you remember about the jungle when you were up at Gona West and you had to sleep in the jungle?
Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
I don't think we slept much.
You didn't sleep? Too much happening?
You couldn't sleep with all the bloody gunfire and that going on. I remember we walked from the plane onto Gona, and we just got to the beach at Gona, and one of our, or two of our planes overshot their mark, and they shot a couple of, not a couple of the natives were shot through them, because this plane of ours overshot its mark anyway. They missed us, thank goodness. But that was something else I forgot to tell you, yeah. But
do you remember what you wore at the time?
yes. No, we didn't wear shorts, no, we had just like a shirt and pants, like, I forget what sort of a giggle set, was it? I don't know. It was very light anyway. We didn't have shorts because of the mosquitoes. See?
When you were at Gona, tell us about Phil Gartner.
Phil Gartner, he was attached to B Company after a while at Gona. He replaced one of our leaders, I forget who it was anyway, but he used to, when he got to Gona, he used to climb up trees. They had these spikes on their, they just have on their legs. They used to climb up trees and with a Bren gun and fire at the jacks. Yeah.
Do you remember the creek there?
Yeah, I forget the name of the darn thing though.
Were you camped near the creek?
We were camping on the creek more or less, yeah. Our camp ran alongside, well, sort of, I don't know whether you call it camp or what, but it kept moving all the time because there was bloody bullets going right, left and centre all the time.
Did you have trenches?
You only had to put your hand up and get a bloody bullet in it.
Were you in trenches?
Not much good digging that bloody trench over there because it'd be full of water in 5 minutes. No, I don't think there were any bloody trenches really.
And were the Japanese on the other side of the creek?
They were in trenches, yeah, because it was terrible. The smell wasn't too good either, because they've been dead for bloody days, all of those poor buggers there.
Do you remember Hattie's village?
I didn't see it, but I wasn't far from it. I remember Hattie, he was a funny bloke, he was a lieutenant, wasn't he? Yeah. I remember them saying about him throwing grenades, that the Japs used to yell at throw a grenade, and he'd say, mix that with your bloody tucker now, you bird.
Do you remember Hugh Delby?
Hugh Delby, he was a good fighter too, but what company was he in? A company, was he, Delby? I don't know. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I forget which one he was in. He wasn't in V Company now.
Well, you would have lost a few good mates at
yeah, they've lost quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must have been very tough.
Yeah, I remember one, Ron Hunter, it was his brother Jeff, he was only 19, I think, Jeff Hunter. He got killed at Gona, and Ron was terrible, you know, to have two brothers in the one platoon. One gets killed and one doesn't.
You're terrible.
Yeah. There were so many a V Company lost at Gona. It was a big battle. As you see on that book there, what's the name? I'll be able to tell you all V Company and that. I think it was about 20 or 30 B Company killed at Gona. you know, some of them were tough. They go around, I've seen them there with their bayonets digging out the gold teeth and the Japs. I couldn't be in that.
How many Australians were there at Gona? How many of the 39th? A couple of hundred?
Oh, I'd be about 900, I think, yeah. 800 or 900 there at Gona, yeah. They'd have, they must have had, they had over 140 killed there, I think.
And what sort of defences did the Japanese have?
They didn't have much at all, but it was only slit trenches. Well, as I said, you couldn't dig trenches there because they're full of water.
Was it flat?
Flat as attack, yeah. Yeah.
And what about the jungle cover?
Well, that was all, a lot of that was blown away too with the shrapnel and all that. That was pretty open country there, Gona.
Mm. And how did you get your supplies there? Do you remember getting supplies?
Yeah, well, I used to get them bully beef boiled with rice or something like that. Yeah.
Do you remember being hungry?
Oh, you know, I didn't worry about that. I couldn't think of more or less. Yeah. I suppose I was, but you don't think of that very good. I couldn't think of anything worse than trying to eat with all that mess, all that.
You'd be happy to get out of the place.
Get out of the place, whatever. Yeah. I suppose a lot were too, but a lot staying over, stayed on and fought there, stayed there for a few weeks, I suppose.
So that's where you would have served your last action.
Yeah, that's right.
So you came back to Port Moresby.
Yeah.
And then spent some time.
I was in hospital, yeah. I was in hospital and I got the shrapnel, and then I had Yankee gaiters on. I was smart. I thought it was. We had leggings, and I got the Yankee gaiters and put them on because I reckon they'd keep the water out. But I forgot about it coming through the top, so it just went down because we all got rashes then because of the rubbing of the gaiters on their legs. So anyway, well, I stayed in hospital, and then while we were in hospital we got the okay to go back to Australia. All the 30th brigade that were in hospital at the time were sent back to Sydney. And from Sydney we went to Bathurst Hospital. And from Bathurst Hospital I went to, where did I go? Oh, hospital over in, not far from Bathurst, convalescent camp. And then from convalescent camp sent me down to Melbourne to go on leave. And from leave I went on, I got malaria while I was on leave. And then I went from well, they sent me from the hospital to Ballarat convalescent camp. And then I come out of convalescent camp and I went on leave again to finish my leave. And then I went touring around more or less, I said, because the 39th had broken up and we were sent from, they were trying to find us where to send us. So I finished up going back to the 36th after several months, you know, roaming around Australia more or less. I was like Frank Clune, roaming around Australia. That's all I can tell you.
Where were you when you'd heard the 39th had been disbanded? Do you remember where you were?
No, in Melbourne somewhere, I think. Yeah.
And how did you feel about it being disbanded?
No, I didn't worry about it. I didn't worry about anything anyway. No, I was a bit disappointed, I suppose, because you didn't know where you were going or what. But they told me that ones that were in the AIF, they were sent to the various AIF companies, or units, and those that weren't went to the 36th Battalion. Well, the infantry, the chocos or whatever they like to call us. We went to the 36th Battalion, but I didn't know, and I used to tell them I was in the 39th, and I was still running around Australia. And I finished up, I did tell them I was 36 because they told me you go to, they'd send you wherever they like, but I know that there was quite a few of the 39th blokes in the 36, so I said I was 36.
And did you get sent away again?
Yeah, I went
with the 36?
Went over to New Guinea again with the 36th Battalion.
And what were you, where did you go?
Buna and then to Lae. And then while I was there, I got sent back on leave again because I had early leave because I came back on the hospital ship earlier. No, they worked it on a roster system. So I went on leave again, and while I was on leave, or going back to New Guinea, I waited for a ship to go back to New Guinea. I had a stroke.
Oh.
That was finished. I finished up in about 6 months in hospital and convalescent and that. And I was discharged on the 16th of June 1945.
So you would have been discharged down in Melbourne?
Yeah, at Royal Park. And I went to the races straight after.
To celebrate?
They were at Caulfield on me. My way home from the Royal Park, I went called into races.
And what did you do after the war, when the war had ended?
I joined the public service. I was in the Department of Air.
And did you think the war taught you anything about life?
No, I just took it as it came. I was happy here.
What do you think is important for the younger generation to remember about what happened in New Guinea?
That's a bit difficult to really answer that, really, I think. I don't know what to say about that. Just be careful of your future. Look, you never know where you're going to end up, do you? That's proven it. I think I've proved it more or less that anything can happen, you know, when a war breaks out, doesn't it? You never know where you're going. Well, that's true. I didn't know where I was going.
Well, on behalf of the 39th Battalion History Unit, we'd like to thank you very much for this interview. Thank you.
Thank you.